come along with me as I take you into the beautiful mountains of Puerto Rico with this traditional Puerto Rican recipe. Today, I am going to be showing you all how I make bacalao. Bacalao is a very traditional Puerto Rican dish that is often served over root vegetables, or it can be over green bananas, green plantains, breadfruit, or a combination of all of those things. It typically consists of salted fish with sauteed onions and oil. And just like any other Puerto Rican dish, there are so many different ways that people choose to prepare this. Some people just like to keep it plain and simple with the fish, the oil, and the onions, while other people like to add in there some color and some tomato sauce. I've even seen it served with eggs, like a hard-boiled egg sliced. So my dad, he actually likes to make it more in a ceviche style. So he doesn't use oil on his fish. He just cooks the fish and then breaks it apart and uses fresh tomatoes and avocados and then serves it like that on top of his food. So today, let me show you one of the many ways that you can make this delicious traditional Puerto Rican dish. These are the only ingredients that we are going to be using today to make our delicious bacalao. I have here 1 onion and I have sliced it into halves like this, but if you want to, you can leave it in whole rounds. It's really up to your preference. I got 3 tablespoons of sofrito, fresh homemade sofrito. If you would like my recipe on that, go ahead and check that out in my channel. I'll be using about 3 garlic cloves, and these are gonna be minced. Garlic is just fabulous. We absolutely love it in our home, so I always use it. I have a little bit of black pepper, a small little bunch of fresh cilantro. I also have a little bit of red pepper and green pepper. I personally love using the pepper in my bacalao. My kids don't like to eat the pepper themselves, so I just put it in there for the taste, and then I'm the one who eats the pepper. I will also be using some olive oil. This is super essential, and I will be using, I usually don't measure it, I eyeball it. But I'm gonna measure it today and I'll let you know how much of it do I use. Is it half a cup? Is it 3/4 of a cup? I don't know. So I'll let you guys know the exact measurement later on. And then guys, the star of the show, we have our bacalao. This, I found it in the frozen section. I got this at Save-A-Lot. In Puerto Rico, you can find this, is a salted fish. You don't really always find it at the frozen section. You can just find it just out in the fresh air at the supermarket, because this is something that is eaten a lot over there. And it's salted, so the salt itself preserves it. However, here where I live, I usually find this in the frozen section. It already has the salt in it and it has been deboned. However, I have to take this salt out. So the way I do it is I run it under water and then I place it on the stove in hot water to boil for about, I'd say 10 minutes, just to get all that saltiness off. I am not going to be using the whole bag. I'm only going to be using about 3/4 of this bag. The rest of it, I'm planning to use it to make bacalaitos, which is a fritter that is made out of flour and it has this in it. It's street food in Puerto Rico. You can find it at any corner when it's breakfast time or lunchtime, and it's just one of those fried delicious things that you can get there. Traditionally, we serve bacalao over root vegetables. Here, I'm simply going to be using this frozen yucca or cassava. My kids love this stuff. This is your favorite root vegetable. So I'm simply sticking with this. But if you are able to have green plantains and green bananas and green yame, malanga, all that stuff, that is how I grew up eating this. Go ahead and add those things in there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, friends, this is what my bacalao looks like after I have rinsed it and washed it. When it comes out of the bag, you're gonna notice that there is clumps of salt everywhere. But I have already rinsed it a couple times, washed it, so the salt is all taken out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add this into this hot water simply because I want the salt to come out even further. So I'm gonna put it in there and I'm going to let it boil. I'll wait till it starts boiling. After it starts boiling, I'll put the timer for about 10 minutes and that should be enough to get all that excess salt off. All right, my friends, my bacalao has been boiling for about 10 minutes. You're going to notice that it gets a lot softer and just easier to break up. With this particular bacalao, I don't have to boil it numerous times, but there's some bacalaos that come that are very salty and you have to run it through just a couple of times to remove all, not completely all the salty flavor, because we're not using salt in this recipe at all, but you don't want it to be like super salty fish. So I'm gonna remove it now, drain it, and then I'm going to start some water over here for my yucca to start boiling as I start working on the bacalao itself. For this, I'm going to go ahead and turn my burner up to about a medium high. And I'm first going to put my oil in, and I'm gonna start measuring it out. I'm gonna start with half a cup, and I'll work my way up to see exactly how much oil do I put on this, okay? Now, why put so much oil is because this is what actually goes on top of the roots. So when you're eating roots, they're generally like a dry thing. So we typically either put oil on top or have the nice oily bacalao to help it out. So I put half a cup, and I think I'm gonna put maybe another quarter cup. Let's see. All right, I put 3/4 cups of oil for now. If you can add more if you want to, okay? Next, we're going to add our sofrito right there. You're gonna see it's gonna start sauteing. I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic. Good garlicky flavor. Add the cilantro. If you have picao, oh my goodness, it is so delicious with picao. Next, I'm going to add my onions. If you want to, for color, you can add some sazon. It gives it a beautiful orange color. Then I'm gonna add my peppers to saute that in there. Now I'm just gonna let this saute there for like a minute or two, just a little bit. I'm also gonna add a little bit of the pepper, just a little ground pepper, however much you like in there. It's your choice to taste. A little bit of the ground turmeric, just for the color, just a tad, a little touch, not too much. Finally, I'm adding in the bacalao, and then with my spatula, I'm simply going to break out the pieces into smaller pieces. You can leave them into bigger pieces if you wish. It's all up to your desire. Then I'm gonna mix everything together, place a lid on it, and I'm going to let this cook at a medium-low for no more than 5 minutes. You could even do less than 5 minutes. It's really up to your preference on how you want the consistency and the texture of your vegetables to be. If you like more of a crunchy vegetable, you can cook it for less than the 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and uncover it. Oh my goodness, look at that deliciousness. So perfect. Go ahead and give it another mixing. Right now I'm just waiting for the yucca to be ready to serve. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. Now it's time for my favorite part, and that's dishing it out and enjoying this wonderful, delicious, traditional Puerto Rican dish. Now it's your turn to give it a try. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!